Okay, welcome. I am so honored to be here today with Ruth Kalanga. Ruth is the co-founder of an NGO known as Priority for Entrepreneurship and Development Network. She is also a consultant, trainer, and coach in the entrepreneurship field, mostly focused on empowering youth and women who are social entrepreneurs in Tanzania. She does this through training and coaching them to become thought leaders in their enterprises who are able to drive measurable results in the community through their social enterprises. She also teaches computer classes for pupils and their teachers in local government schools. And to date, she has been able to train entrepreneurship courses to over 2,000 women in Tanzania, 300 youth, and 100 young girls who are dropouts in entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship skills. Ruth earned a bachelor degree in community development from Daystar University in Nairobi, Kenya, and later obtained a master's degree in entrepreneurship and innovation from Lund University in Sweden in collaboration with Eastern and Southern African Management Institute. So welcome, Ruth. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much, Elisabeth. Thank you.
I love entrepreneurship and I love social entrepreneurship, so I'm so excited to hear what your path has been getting to where you are today. What was kind of the path and what was the issue that you saw that you wanted to address?
Okay, thank you, Elisabeth. As you've said, right now I'm working with Priority for Entrepreneurship and Development Network. But before that, I used to work in, I was employed in a non-government organization also. I worked as the program officer there in the field of community empowerment programs. And in terms of my education, as you've mentioned, I started as a community development student, and then I added a little twist to it, and I decided to take entrepreneurship and innovation. Because for me, I believe in community development, especially in this century. People need also that aspect of entrepreneurial skills for them to develop and for them to come out of poverty, especially here in Tanzania. So after my graduation and I've finished with my education, me and my friends started this organization where I am right now, and I'm the lead. I'm a director in this organization actually. So yes, I'm here and we are doing different programs that we run here in Tanzania. Yeah, so that's how I found myself in this entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. And that has been my passion for a long time. Even before going to class, to study about entrepreneurship, I was an independent entrepreneur, I can say, and that has been running in my family. So I've grown in that system. Yes.
So what was it that you saw? What was the need you saw that you wanted to address? I know you work with a lot of women, you work with young girls, dropouts. What was the need that you saw? You've mentioned that community development and entrepreneurship is important in the community, but what was it really that you saw that you wanted to bring?
For me, what I saw in my community was the gap that exists between men and women in terms of the economic capacities that they have. Because in our society, a lot of, especially rural women, they are deprived of their rights to work. And some, even if they work, you find that men come and take whatever that they bring on the table. So at the end of the day, these women are left with nothing and they end up living in poverty. And, they pass it on from one generation to another. So for me, that touched my heart. And I wanted to see that change in the rural community of Tanzania. And also for the girls, for the young girls and adolescents, you find there's this culture of forced marriage. Parents force their children to marry because of the money. But when you trace it back, you find it's because they lack some kind of economic, some kind of income generating business or activity that supports their family. So they use their young girls as a commodity. They trade them as commodity, which is very bad, and it's just against the human rights.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, so you see as the answer to, so what you're mentioning is forced marriage, that girls are just not provided the same opportunities as young boys. But it sounds like the path, if they're put on a path of education and or economic empowerment where they can actually bring in money to the family, less likely to be married off. They're more likely then to be able to gain economic independence for themselves. Is that the path you see?
Yes. That's what exactly I see.
So what are the barriers to providing education or to providing, for example, the programming that you do in computer training and that type of thing? What are the barriers to actually being able to provide that to girls? Is it the families have a say in whether or not the girl has the ability to gain that education?
Pardon, can you come again? You kind of broke.
Sure, sorry.
Come again.
What are the barriers to providing that education to the girls? Is the family really, they get to make the decision, or do you have access to the girls directly to provide the education, to provide the entrepreneurial training?
For now, girls have also, they are all, I can say they are aware of what is going on, and because of the different initiatives that are going on in the underground. So it's easy also to access the girls right away from the schools, because you find before they become dropouts, they belong in a certain school or particular school. So, and there are people that go around and teach these girls about the importance of education, the importance of finishing the school and all that. But there are only those few ones that somehow they find themselves, in the streets again, and they're no longer in the schools. So for us, it's easy for us to get both when the girls are in school and when they're out of school. But there's a problem, or there's a hindrance when girls are dropouts, because then you have to go through parents. You have to ask the parents, it's important that now, because your child is a dropout, okay, or maybe because she's already pregnant and maybe she's expecting a baby, there's an importance for this girl to receive this kind of another skill, that is entrepreneurship skill, so that they can be able to support the child, because not all of them they are accepted back to school, and there was like a policy. If girls drop from the school, they are not admitted back in the schools, and that has been affecting a lot of girls. So this is another way of reaching out to them and say, okay, if you cannot continue with the formal education, there's this another way where we can empower you with entrepreneurship skills, where you can support your child, you can support yourself, and continue with your life.
So you broke up just a little bit at the end there, but I think I've gotten what you said. So tell me, what do you do then, particularly with these girls that are dropouts or those that don't have they haven't been able to maintain that formal education? What do you do? What are the type of programming that you provide?
First of all, we provide them with the initiative of first of self-awareness, to just understand who they really are and where they want to go, so that there's that kind of personal awareness that goes on first before we induce them to any kind of program or any kind of initiative again. So after that, we teach them on the on confidence building and leadership. We empower them that they can raise up again. They can be what they want to be, even though they are dropouts from these schools. So there are those steps that usually take place before we go direct to entrepreneurship training and empowering them with economic skills and all that. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Are you seeing a shift Because I know there are a number of wonderful programs happening on the ground. Are you seeing a shift in the way young girls and women view themselves now? Is their confidence growing? Are they recognizing that they are valuable, inherently valuable, just by being a woman, by being alive? Are you seeing that change?
Yeah, we are seeing some change in some communities, not all the community, because in some communities they are still holding on to that, I can say, harmful cultures, where girls, they are not supposed to go to school, where they are not supposed to do anything. They're just there waiting to get married and all. But in some communities where we have reached, we see tremendous change, where girls have risen up and they own that they own their, I can say, their womanhood and their childhood, and they are now rising above what's done. See a positive change in some communities, yes.
It is so beautiful and so encouraging to hear. What do you think the difference is in the communities? Are the communities that are more progressive in thinking, are they just places that have been reached by positive programming, or is there some other difference between the communities that keep some held back in the old belief system?
I think it's because of the belief system that have been existing for so many years. Yes. And in some community, it takes time to change, you know. So different organizations, different change makers go and talk to them, but you see change for them, it takes place very slowly compared to other communities. And especially in Tanzania, the coastal communities, the communities that are in the coastal region, it's really, there's still a huge problem there in terms of the culture and beliefs that have been existing for so many years right now. And it's not only for girls, even for women, you know. So you find this problem is cross-cutting from the family level to the children themselves. It's really a challenge, still a challenge, but you're not giving up hope. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Well, you're absolutely right, though. In some cases, it is the woman because that's all she's known, and she may have been married young or been exposed well to things that when she was growing up that have kept her values kind of locked in the old belief system as well. And so we have to transform both the men and the women in their approach to young girls and the opportunities that they provide. What do you think needs to happen to shift the thinking amongst men and boys?
I think it's important to involve them in this process. You know, when we go to the society, when we go to the community, most of the time, if our target is, for most of organizations, now I'm talking about this, you find they go direct to women and girls direct. But they forget that these women and these young girls they belong in a family where there are young boys, where there are men. So you cannot just transform the women and girls and you forget about the men in the society. Yeah. So it's very important to also include the men in this process so that we can have that holistic change and development in the society.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell me about, I know there's a program through the Ashoka organization, which is a favorite of mine, called Change Makers, and they've supported you. How have they been a support to you in your programming?
Okay. For supporting us in one program that is a mobile computer program. It's a program that empowers young pupils in public primary schools with computer skills. So for us, we provide computer skills together with robotics and coding skills to these young pupils. And it's not that we only empower these pupils, but we reach out even to their teachers. Because, you know, in the government curriculum, it states that children should also learn computer and do an exam when they come to standard 7. But in most of these schools, when you go, there's not even a single computer. The teachers who are assigned to teach the lesson, they have never even opened a computer. So it's really a big problem. Yeah. So yes, Ashok has been supporting us in terms of providing the skills and knowledge to these schools, in these public primary schools. And we've been working in Dar es Salaam only because of the lack of funds and resources. We cannot expand further because of the funds. But for the schools that we've been able to reach out to, they're really progressing and they're really doing well. And when we go, when we go to a particular school, we after maybe a completion of the program, we don't just leave them like that. We make sure that we help them build a permanent computer lab where it is equipped with computers and children can access the computer lesson at any time when they feel like, and teachers also are welcome to use that computer lab. So that is what we do with Ashuka.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what the impact of COVID has had on your community and the schools? And also, I know it's a huge impact on entrepreneurs. And so many of the women and men in your community are entrepreneurs. What has been the impact of COVID and how are you working through that?
COVID has impacted a lot, especially entrepreneurs. A lot. We see a lot of businesses closed down because of the disease, and so in terms of poverty, I can say right now it's high because the purchasing power is low, and people cannot afford the things that they used to afford before. Even having a 3 meal right now, it's a problem to some of the citizens, you know. But also it has also affected the education system in general, because when the schools were closed, some schools, we call them international schools and English medium schools, they were able to continue with their lessons while their students are at home. But these ones that we work with, the in local primary schools, you find, you know, they are lagging behind because of that. They do not have access to technology. They do not have access to internet. So it has really affected a lot in education system, but also in general the entrepreneurship, and even in the in the non-government organization, some of them have closed because, you know, no funding is coming in, and you cannot keep the employees coming to work if you don't have any funds. So that has been a real impact to us. Yeah.
So what kind of assistance do you need? What support would be most helpful to you in your community and the work that you're doing, and as we navigate through this really uncertain time globally?
The support or system that we need right now is, first of all, we need networking opportunities, because I believe in networking, we'll be able to learn from others from around the world. So we would really love to have the networking opportunity, be it live seminars or mentorship, coaching programs. For us, it will be really helpful for us. Okay. But also, we also need support in terms of funds, you know, because we need to reach out to a wider community, especially the women who belong in the rural areas. Now, if we do not have we do not have enough funds, it's really hard for us to send our volunteers to go in the interior parts of the villages with no funds. It's really hard. So sometimes we might find we are just reaching in the nearby villages because that's where we can afford to go. Yeah, we cannot go in the interior parts of the villages in Tanzania because of lack of funds. So we really need support in that area, but also in the program that we run in public primary schools, we would appreciate to receive donation of computers or laptops for these kids, because what we have is insufficient. Yeah, because kids share computer. But find one computer, there are 5 kids, you know. But because we want to every kid to learn and be impacted and have knowledge on computer, then they have to. But then we would really like to see that every child has their own computer where they can study and, you know, and learn. That will be a wonderful thing for us. Yes.
So if someone would like to be able to reach out and help you, how can they get in touch with you? What's the best way?
We have a website that is www.pentanzania.org, but
That's
also
pentanzania.org. Yep.
yes, yes, pentanzania.org, but also they can send us an email through info@pentanzania.org.
Okay.
But they can also call us. We have available number that is, they can reach out to us. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So we will post that. I'll post that under the video to have that website. I would also, Ruth, I would just love to know, what is it that keeps you inspired and keeps you uplifted and keeps you going through all of the challenges that you see being individuals facing in the communities that you live in and serve in, and with all that's going on in the world? What is it that keeps you grounded and really—
Come again. Sorry, Elisabeth, come again.
Yep. I'm wondering what it is that keeps you personally centered and grounded and uplifted and inspired when you look out and see all of the challenges that we're facing as globally, but also in your communities. What is it that keeps you going and keeps you lit up?
Passion. I have passion in helping the community. So, if someone does something out of passion, and because I love it, I love helping the community, for me, come any challenge that won't discourage me, because I want to see an impacted society, an empowered women in Tanzania, an empowered adolescent girls, and empowered children who are studying in this local community. So for me, passion is what keeps me going. The love of serving my community is the thing that keeps me going. Yes.
I love that, Ruth, because I agree. I think passion and our purpose in life is exactly what keeps us going. And I think my dream is that every individual, and I focus especially on women and girls, but every individual has the opportunity to pursue their passion, to share their gifts fully with the world. And you've spoken to that beautifully. It's that passion and that purpose that allows us to keep going in the challenges that we're sure to face. But we know if we're on purpose and if we're doing something we're passionate about, we're in the place we're meant to be. So I love that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are a beautiful individual, and I'm so honored to have been able to spend time with you and to hear of your story and the beautiful work you're doing in the world. And I want to just thank you for what you're doing and what you're bringing to the world and shining your light in a world that can be very dark at times. So I honor and bless you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so much, Elisabeth, for this opportunity. I'm grateful for this, and to me, I don't take this for granted. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruth.